So I just got back from a walk. I don't know why I thought I would go for a walk in 80-degree weather right before I filmed the video, but it was so pretty outside that I just had to do it. I had to do it. My dog needed to go out. That's my excuse. Hi everyone! So today I'm going to be doing an April wrap-up, and I've never actually done a wrap-up before. At least I don't think I've done a wrap-up before. I'm pretty sure I haven't. But I was looking at my Goodreads, and I actually didn't feel like I read a whole lot this month. I was just like, yeah, maybe I read like a couple books. No, I read a lot of books. I don't know how. Probably because I do a lot of audiobooks. But yeah, got a lot of books to go through. But I'm really excited to tell you all about the books that I've read. I'm sure a lot of them you already know of, but I'm really happy that I'm finally reading them. A little late to the game for some of them, but let's jump in. So the first couple books that I read were in a series, and they are The Fallen Kingdom and Rebel Rising by Morgan Rhodes. I listened to both of these as audiobooks, and I fell in love with this series. It is so amazing and epic, and I love this series. So I bought the hardcover. If you saw my book haul, I was really excited, so I bought the hardcover, and then I need the hardcover of the second one. Ooh, if I can figure out how to do pictures, I'll put a picture here. Maybe, I don't know. I still haven't figured out how to edit things properly yet. So without completely spoiling this series, at least for the first couple books, basically it just follows four main characters. There's the princess of a southern kingdom, there's a rebel who is kind of a commoner of the middle kingdom, and then there are the prince and the princess of the northern kingdom. And basically the king of the northern kingdom is trying to take over the southern kingdom, and there's all this chaos going on. If you are not sure of this book, you go into a bookstore and you read just the prologue. It literally hooked me on just the prologue. Like, people are dying, there's so much happening. Oh, it's so good, and it does not stop. It is so fast-paced. The plot line is amazing. The characters I really enjoy. There are definitely tropes in here that I don't necessarily like, and I don't necessarily agree with what happens, but it's still such an amazing series that I really feel like if you like high fantasy and you really enjoy fast-paced plot lines with good characters, this is definitely a series to get into. So the next book I did was The Hate You Give by Angie, and I had the galley version of that, but I gave it to a coworker so she was able to read it. And basically, I'm sure everybody already knows what this book is about. I'm going to link my review of that book down below, so I'm not really going to go too much into it because I've already kind of done a review on it, and I'm sure several other people have, and I'm sure everybody already knows what it's about because it's an amazing book. So moving on. The next ones that I did was Flunked and Charmed by Calonita. So these books are basically about a girl who ends up stealing to be able to help provide for her family. And one day she finally gets caught, and she has to go to fairy tale reform school where it is taught by the villains that you grew up with. But there is an evil villain that is taking over, and so she has to band with her friends to be able to fight that villain to make sure that she doesn't actually take over the school and the kingdom. These are actually really fun, easy reads. I wish she had expanded a little bit more, so I was going to do a review on Flunked, but then I felt like I didn't have enough content about the series, so I decided to wait until I actually complete the series before I do a review on it. So I'll just do a review on the entire series just to be able to get a more well-rounded review to be able to provide for you guys. But so far I really enjoy these ones. If you like middle grade and you like fairy tale retellings, these are a great series to read. They're just nice, fun, easygoing, simple, short reads. The next one I did was A Darker Shade of Magic by Schwab, and I listened to the audiobook version of that, and I'm kind of disappointed because I've heard amazing things about this book, and I wonder if it was just because it was the audiobook version instead of me reading it that I felt a little disconnected from the characters, and I felt like it was a little bit slower paced than what most people were talking about. But I know it's kind of setting up the world, so I wonder if I'm going to continue on, but I am thinking that I'm not going to listen to the audiobook versions. I was going to buy the books anyways. I'm just going to buy the books and read it from just the books and see if that changes my mind. If you don't know the premise of that book, it follows two characters. There is a man named Kel who basically can jump between different Londons. There is the Black London that basically magic has taken over. There is White London that magic is basically leaking all the color and life out of everything. And then there's Red London, which is where Kel's from, and that has magic and it's very rich and lively. And then there's Grey London, which is ours, and that has no magic. And so he can jump in between worlds to communicate with people, and he ends up smuggling on the side just as a thing to do. And that actually gets him in trouble when he is in possession of something from Black London, which can cause havoc on any London that it touches. During all this craziness, Kel meets up with a girl named Delilah, who is a thief in Grey London, and she's actually really smart. I really like her. I think she's probably my favorite character so far. But she is basically a commoner. She wants escape, she wants adventure, and so she gets tangled up in Kel's craziness and ends up going with him to Red London, and they end up helping each other and going through all the things. You gotta read the books. If it sounds interesting, definitely check that out. I've heard fantastic things about the series, so I cannot wait to finish that. And I really want to give it another go, and I'm hoping that reading it will actually make me like the book better. The next book I did was Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. I'm hoping I'm saying her name right. That is a historical fiction World War II book that I read for my book club, and I picked it, and I'm glad I did, but that book destroyed me. Yeah. So it follows 4 different perspectives, and they all come from very different backgrounds. So you kind of see the different perspectives from different sides of what's going on, which is great. They're trying to evacuate a certain area before the Russians come in, and they get on these ships to be able to escape, and their ship gets attacked and their boat is sinking. I've heard a lot of things about this book, so I mentally prepared myself for it. I didn't cry. I got sad at one part before the end, you know, that was fine, but I knew that was happening. I knew it was coming because my friend spoiled it for me. But I held it together, and I was like, yeah, I'm almost at the end. I'm not going to cry. This is great, because everybody's like, the book wrecked me. So I'm at like the last little bit of it, and I'm like, yeah, I got this. You know, this is great. And so I'm reading it, and something happens, and I just bawl my eyes out. It made me ugly cry. Oh my god, it was horrible. I had tears and snot all over my face. And of course, my cat sees me and she wants to comfort me, and she's like rubbing all over, and I literally have hair just caked on my face. It was like the worst thing ever. And I'm trying to read the last like chapter while I'm like bawling my eyes out with hair all over me, and it was a horrible experience on top of the horribleness of like the ending of the book. It was a great book, but it just rips out your heartstrings, and it stomps on them, and then it puts it in a blender, and then it just sets them on fire. I'm still getting over that book. Still getting over it. I absolutely loved it, but it just destroyed me. Yeah. If you really like historical fiction and you enjoy World War II, this book is just amazing. I definitely suggest pretty much anything by Ruta Sepetys I've heard is fantastic. The next book I read was A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I love that book. I love it so much. It is an amazing book. I did listen to the audiobook version of it though, and that was super awkward because of all the romance. I listened to the audiobook of the first one, and that was totally fine because there wasn't a whole lot of romance. This one definitely has a lot more. It is much more descriptive romance, and so it was super awkward listening to it. Reading it, I think it'd be fine because I've read other romance books, and it was like okay. But listening to it was just super weird. And yeah. If you like fantasy, if you like some romance, if you like really great epic plot lines, I definitely highly suggest the ACOTAR series, A Court of Thorns and Roses. It is absolutely amazing. I'm not a huge romance person myself, and even though some parts of it were awkward, again, I think it's probably more of the audiobook, listening to that versus reading it. I still loved it. I mean, the romance doesn't take over the plot line, which is great. I hate it when that happens. But this book, I mean, her writing is beautiful. And I can't wait to read ACOWAR. Oh, I'm so excited. I need to get it. I haven't gotten it yet. I know I've been really behind. And I'm super upset. Sarah J. Maas was in Powell's in Beaverton, which is like super close to where I live. And I was working and I was talking to people who were buying the books because Powell sold out. And they told me she was there. And I was like, I didn't even know. How did I not know this? Those are all the books that I read this month. And it was quite a bit. I'm kind of surprised. I'm actually really proud of myself. You guys should tell me below what books you've read this month and which one was your favorite. I think of all the books that I read this month, A Court of Mist and Fury was my all-time favorite. Even though the Fallen Kingdom series was really good. Court of Mist and Fury, you just can't beat. 5 out of 5 stars. It is so amazing. If you like my videos, go and hit the subscribe button, or you can press the bell to be notified when I post new ones up. Have a great day, you guys. Bye!